So we have War on All Worlds here. So let me pull out some of these tabs real quick before I get lost in the sauce. But yeah, so we've actually covered the little Finland meta before. That's pretty awesome. I always like to give a shout out to those guys and take a look at them. So we have War of the Worlds here. So it was a smaller event, and these are the gits that are out here confusing people. So even though I'm giving you guys love, you need to contact your TO and let them know. Don't be confusing people, thinking more Daka got an X and a 1 win here, all right? Because you put down our boy here, Jouni, as a Daka, a more Daka player, and he was a War Horde player. All right, so I'm giving you love, but I'm also giving that attention. Shout out to Juso King King, because even though he ended up winning that event, he played Orks before, and we covered him too. But he ended up winning the event with Death Guard, which we're going to talk about, that matchup as well, because that is the army that our War Horde player did end up playing into and taking the loss into. So let's take a look at his actual list with a good old fashioned War Horde. So it was funny because his actual title on his list was first turn WAAAGH, which I think of it in two ways, right? It's either he's being literal and he's like, I'm gonna try to turn one WAAAGH you, or he's trying to psychologically, psych the enemy out and let them think I'm gonna turn one WAAAGH you, even though he has no really reason to necessarily turn WAAAGH. He just knows that's a stereotype for Orc. So I actually like that he's done both of that. I like that he actually showed that in his list. So normally, I'm not someone who's too creative on list names and titles and such. But something like that, like psychological warfare, I appreciate that. Or was he just being literal? So that was funny. You guys let me know what you think about that as the name. But let's take a look at this War Horde list. We have a Beast Boss, and we have the Deffkilla Wartrike with Supa-Cybork Body. Something always slept on, in my opinion, that we've had around Index Hammer. So shout out to that. Love it. Then we have a Pain Boy, a War Boss of Follow Me Lads with 2 more War Boss, 10-man unit of Snaggers, a 20-man unit of Boys, 3 trucks, 2 Breakers, 2 5-man Flash Kits, 1 Gretchen, 3 Tank Busters, and a Battlewagon. Now, what I appreciate about this Battlewagon 20-man unit of Boy combo, even though I love that it's the meat and potatoes of the Orc Codex, we just talked about it. The other War Horde list as well is running 2 of these, but in this case, we're just running 1 because you can get more assets, more tools, more killing potential that don't rely on gas in that case. In this way, it just ends up playing a mid-table kind of hold the ground and play primary and still hurt, but not necessarily swing the game, kill you on the wall with just 20 boys. What he also has here is the Zap Gun. Now, the Zap Gun isn't necessarily amazing. Just want to give a shout out to the Zap Gun. Orc players a lot of time are looking ways to save dice personally. Something like a Zap Gun is a nice little tool where you go, hey, if this goes off an anti-vehicle, which I really need anyways in most of my Orc lists, nice. If it doesn't, I didn't waste all the time rolling all the dice for the cannon. So in combat, you're not using it anyways, wasting time if you do get to combat. So I like the Zap Gun. Shout out to that real quick. But shout out to the Deffkilla Wartrike, right? Which was also his Warlord, which was an interesting tool as well. So nonetheless, I think this has a lot of the tools that we want to see. Still has a very important wall because the 20-man boys need to get off on the wall for their 5-up and to their feel no pain and -1 the wound actually matter. But the breaker boys need to get off on the wall typically because they're low volume attacks. And then I do think you need the war bosses for the +1 to hit, also for the volume of punches, so they can actually get through more variety of units when you have the 9 attacks from the war bosses to assist you. The beast boss himself being able to critical 5+ just automatically dab wound something to death feels fantastic. So it has all the tools we really want to see, and I like having more assets. As much as I love gas, I like having a little bit more tools. So if I am bringing gas, or whether I'm not, I'm trying to have more tools on the list anyways. Now the interesting part here is 3 tank busts. No characters. I mean, that, it's interesting, not in the sense that you guys are surprised to see it, just that he's leaning even more into it with more stuff. So shout out to that. And let's also get into his path to victory. Another thing to check out is our sponsor, the Baron of Dice. They make high quality custom dice. If you enjoy our content and want to show some love, check out the Baron of Dice custom dice, including Wall Tactics official dice. To support us, use our discount code in the description for 5% off, because nobody likes taxes. And of course, shout out to Forge Fire Gaming. They offer competitive terrain sets that I use at home that comes pre-painted with slotted acrylic bases, allowing for easy building removal and measuring and alignment with it itself. Check it out in the description and check out our paint competition. This month we have the Stampa, so you can get a set of those Wall Tactic dice. So let's take a look at our boy's actual path to victory. Oop, I showed his list. And I just to show you, see, says first turn WAAAGH. Was he playing? Was that real? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Is he psychological warfare here? Is he big brain thinking, or is he just letting the enemy know, kind of like an orc with an attack moon? I'm coming your way, whoa. So I'm not sure, but I thought it was fun. So his first matchup, he love. So we have Death Leaper, Biophages, two of them, Patriarch, and Reductus Saboteur. Four of these 5-man units of hybrids, then two aberrant units, two neurolictors, one 10-man unit of pure strain Genestealers, three Keely Ridge Runners, followed by three Goliath Rock Grinder. So it's surprising not to see like too many bricks up in here. He does have like some gargoyles, which is very annoying. Utilizing the gargoyles like move, shoot, move is very, very important and good in orc matchups if they actually utilize it and set it off properly. As for the killing potential, the boys allow you to keep them, the whole entire battlefield to stop them from, returning in and kind of eroding you slowly as they typically like to do. It forces them to all focus on it, which other variety of units you have on your list, whether it's Tankbusters, combined arms, of being able to pop something really reliably like a Rock Grinder or a Ridge Runner, something that's lacking Armor of Contempt really feels good for these guys. So being able to pop that, and then to be able to run off and punch into some other units like gargoyles themselves or acolytes. It means everything in this army can go forward without much restraint. Even though you do have the pure strange units there, typically these guys will be thrown at you kind of early, and if you can kind of stage them off with the trike plus some trucks and whatever, maybe some flash kits to hold them back and deal with them early, from there on you kind of just become a overwhelming threat. So 100 points put up there from this get. I do feel like the Deffkilla Wartrike becomes just a funny the delay tool in that matchup, and I really like to see it. And yeah, it's on WTC terrain too. Then we have 10 Wall Tactic Gifted membership. So what did this give? Andrew Stone, super supportive as always. Shout out to you, Andrew, for helping out the Great Wall and showing some love. So check out the content in the members. We're gonna bring more content as to that, and of course the after action reports that we're getting ready to do. I got the tripod to take my notes and everything. So we're gonna have a good time. Thank you to Gets Like You, Andrew. And it means a lot. So check that out. And of course, if we do that live video with Brandon, then later, I hope to see you there, Andrew. So thank you for the love. And I'm sure our boys all appreciate it as well. So shout out, can we get some more bosses and knobs in the chat for that? It's always very humbling when people do that. So thank you, Andrew. Always very humbling. Get a little shy. All right, so then we move on to the second matchup. Well, we have the Knights. So he has Canis Rex, followed by Crassus, Knight, Apopkos. This dude's really good at killing vehicles from what I remember. Then we have 2 Helvrins, 4 Warglaves, Sister of Battle Emulator Squad, plus Sister 10-man unit of Sisters of Battle with a Watch Captain Artemis. That's kind of fun. I used to own Death Watch. So yeah, this guy's cool, the old model with the little power sword. Nonetheless, this is very typical to what Knights are playing right now, where they run the sisters kind of at the side so they can actually score secondaries, play some kind of trash stuff as well. Possibly split the sisters into 2 5-man squads too, and then they just have more stuff and activations. Nonetheless, having a bunch of breaker boys and tank bustas and the 20-man unit ways to cause them to focus to go to kill it. Deffkilla Wartrike, that's gonna draw them out to bring one of these baby knights to get into a fight with it and to kind of start the rolling over of this is pretty awesome to see. So Temni of Snagas here. There's just so many tools that can end up kind of crumping down on that army. So not necessarily surprising. Not an easy win. You still have to execute a proper wall there. But I can see how that was the win. So then we move on to his third matchup, where we have and it's on WTC, right? Good staging positions in WTC. Where we have Necrons, Awakened Dynasty. So we have Necron, Katad, Night Shard, Luminor, Suzeris, followed by Emotech the Stormlord, Scorpec Lord, Technomancer, followed by 2 Crypto Thralls, 2 units of 3 Ophidian Destroyers, 2 3-man units of Scorpex Destroyers, 1 Locust Destroyer, a big 6-man unit of Wraiths, followed by a Reanimator and 2 Doomsday Ark. So a lot of points to the characters, and a lot of the time it's about, can you tar pit the Nightbringer with the boys, make him not really that important into your 3 damage units. You don't really have to kill him. Now, if you're running something like Gaz, where you can do lethal sustain, then sure, you can really bring down something like the Nightbringer. But a lot of the time, this guy is something you tar pit with this kind of lift, and then you go into everything else. All these 3 wound bodies, these couple, Doomsday Arcs, which are getting absolutely murdered as well. Not really good Overwatch targets here, so the Breaker Boys are getting into their targets, pretty reliably with that full max potential. So everything's getting kind of crumbed pretty reliably and hard now. Besides the Nightbringer and maybe where's the Luminor Caesaris with his like 4 Feel No Pain, I believe. So it is a very killy army in its own sense as well. But orcs just end up having the right profiles a lot of time to really kind of chew through the neck on our Necron armies. And they don't have like the right trading pieces for that either necessarily. Shout out to that, right? Just a little 4 Feel No Pain, Deffkilla Wartrike, causing them to come out would suck. So then we go into his 4th matchup where he ends up taking a loss, where we talked about earlier, into the Death Guard. So we have what this Virulent Vectorum. So we have Biologus Putrefier, followed by Demon Prince of Nurgle, Lord of Contagion, Lord of Virulence, Malignant Planecaster, followed by a 10-man unit of Plague Marines, 6-man unit of Death Shroud Terminators, a 3-man unit of Death Shroud Terminators, 2 10-man unit Poxwalkers, 2 Chaos Spawn, and then 2 units of Floated Blight Drones with Flesh Mowers, followed by 3 Floated Blight Drones with Blight Launchers, and then a Chaos Rhino. So Blight Launchers are pretty tough. Yeah, he's meta right now, right here. So this like we talked about before, might just have just enough too much killing power and hard trades for our orcs, for example, right? To kill something like a floated bloat drone, is already a little bit kind of like a crappy trade for us, right? For 90 points, as much as, flash kits are freaking awesome and doing a lot of things, they're not really putting a reliable kill on these floated bloat drones, for example. So they're spreading the contagion as we come out to trade with them, like kill them, we get a bad trade out of it, then they come out and they kill us. So there's a lot going on there, but as we move on, we'll talk about Death Guard in itself. We might have to do a video like about orcs looking at all of those new codexes at once. Might be looking at World Eaters, Emperor's Children, Death Guard, and just kind of how it looks for us and orcs and how we feel. We might have to have interest in that. So if you want to see that, let us know in the comments, as we can end up doing something based off of that as well. So with that being said, he ended up losing that game to that Death Guard. Oop, was I showing my fat head again? Yeah, I was. Here it is. Here's a list. Sorry. So yeah, so we'll take a look at that, but he ended up losing that game with a 38 points, pretty harsh matchup right there. But he moves on strong, as every good orc player should do. After you take a loss, you end up taking a W there right after and have the walk keep going. So he goes into Tyranids after that with Vanguard Onslaught. So we have Death Leaper, 3 units of Rude Lords, Neuro Tyrant, a Winged Hive Tyrant, a Winged Tyrant Prime, Gargoyles, Biovores, 2 10-man Genestealers, a 5-man unit Stealers, 2 Lictors, 2 Neural Lictors, Ravener, sorry, I said Raven, a Tyranid Warrior Brick with Bio Weapons, and then 3 Von Ryan Leapers, followed by Zoan Throat. So there are a couple units here that can like impose, of course, damage to your orcs. Genestealers themselves, the Biovore weapon, but they have to disembark you, right? They have them disembark you. You can deter them from block. You have to obviously keep yourself safe from getting completely surrounded, and then when you disembark, you lose too many bodies and such. But nonetheless, the fact that they don't have guns and you have a lot of transport does give you ability to kind of collapse on them and get the initiative from them. So I love to see that. Great job with that W on there with a 91-point win. And to do Tyranids as well, which I always think whenever you're playing against Tyranids, be extra aggressive as an orc player. If you try to let them play the slow game with you and kind of do the little tricks, they want to trade body for points too. They want to throw their Tyranids at you, their Stealers, hold you back, their Gargoyles. So it's really up to you to just put the tempo on them. When they give you those stuff, kill all their assets and continue moving forward, because once you have your wall and your Feel No Pains up, and they really don't have enough assets to killing you after that. So with that being said, let's take a look one more time at his list. We have Beast Boss, Deffkilla Wartrike with Feel No Pain as the Warlord, 1 Pain Boy, 1 War Boss with the Follow Me Lads, of course, with the 20-man boys in the wagon with the Pain Boy, getting them nice and fast. 2 war bosses for the Breaker Boys, Snaggas, and like we talked about for the boys, 3 trucks, 2 5-man units of flash goods for those SWAT teams. Excellent point trading units. I hope flash goods never go up in points right now. Then we have Grots, 3 tank busters for that meta pick, and then the wagon with all the fixins, and shout out to the Zap gun. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!